Hello, this is Grant, one half of the Herdsman, coming back again today to talk about Full Metal Alchemist, Episode 4. Okay, so this episode, it's rather unique now because it is the very first episode that is original. And what I mean by that is, up until this point, all of the episodes have more or less told a story that was in the manga. You see, this is the show that diverges quite a bit later on, and these were the first few signs. So, without further ado, let's get started. So this episode, it starts off with these two brothers remarking on how alchemy can be such a great thing, that it can help a lot of people. And that's actually one of the problems that I had just recently come to notice with this episode. I viewed another YouTube video commenting on this show because I just love it so much. I have to watch other people's reactions to it. And they made some good points on this episode that I'd like to mention, and that is that this feels very, very after-school special at the very beginning and at the very end, because it's kind of that, well, I guess we learned something today, kids, that you would see all the time in the 80s. Just the, well, I guess alchemy can be used to harm people, too. Yeah, the episode itself is actually, for filler, it's pretty good, but it's like the beginning and the end feel like they're trying to send a message that's gonna be brought up in other episodes later, about just refusing to accept reality. That seems to be like a major theme within this show, and it kind of suffered at the beginning and the end with that whole aspect of telling, not showing, which is ironic because it actually does show those themes, but it feels like it has to tell us out loud what those themes are. So that's really the only weakness. The strengths of this episode is it keeps adding to the mystery of who is their father, which is going to be revealed much, much later. This is a show that really takes its time. I mean, the other one takes its time, but it's a lot more compact. This show really takes its time. It develops, since I had to keep up to a certain point with the manga it was based off of, it had to have episodes that were just filler, and for filler episodes, this one is good, and so are the other ones. I mean, unlike most filler episodes where it's just a random adventure that's going on, it just feels like it's reiterating points that it's already made rather uniquely. I mean, this episode, with dealing with the whole refusing to accept reality, what they're trying to do in this episode is figure out the truth behind a legend that says that this one woman came back from the dead and allegedly killed someone. And they find out, spoiler alert, that it happens to be the one guy who is an alchemist in that town who is so obsessed with bringing his girlfriend back to life that he creates these mannequins that are an exact likeness of her, just for the sake of trying to be able to attach her spirit to them. He's that obsessed. Man, I can't think of a word. It's very creepy. And he's not willing to accept the reality even when he's given an opportunity for a happy ending. This character will not accept that time has passed on. because this character, he lost this person, but then this person comes back later, but she's like years older. I mean, she's not that bad looking, but it's like seeing someone 1 year and then seeing them 20 years later. I mean, even under the best of circumstances, they've aged quite a bit. Unless you're Phoebe Cates. But in other instances, they've aged quite a bit. And he is so stubborn against this. This character, Majahal, he is so stubborn at holding on to the image he had of her from his early 20s. I'd say this guy, he was probably 30 when he met this woman. He's in his 50s or 60s, and he hasn't let go of it. And he keeps saying that he loves this woman, but the second he figures out who it is, that he just says, "Who are you?" He kind of responds with the whole thing that Jesus said with, "Depart from me, I never knew you." He responds that way. He even used some of Jesus' language, like turn the other cheek, but in this indifferent sort of way. He slaps this woman. He doesn't care for her at all because she doesn't look as young as she once was, and it's kind of sad. And once again, this starts to reiterate the points of dealing with reality. This character refused to accept things and just be happy with this woman as she was. Claims to love her the whole episode. But in the end, he died thinking that this woman was just ugly and not the one he fell in love with at all. And, yeah, this is a dark episode. I mean, it's interspersed with some pretty funny stuff, like they keep bringing back the whole issue of Ed being rather short for his age, and being pointed out to that by girls that are younger than him. That's pretty funny, and having Al, his younger brother, be talked about as a trash can since he's like 8 feet tall and made of metal. They call him a trash can, but this is weird. In the subtitles for this, it says otaku, which I guess is the Japanese word for it. That's one of the weird things when you watch these anime. For the most part, their subtitles are good, but once in a while, it's not going to match up, and it's going to look very, very weird in how it's not going to match up. And that's all I can really say right now. I hope that I can give you some longer videos of these soon, and until next time, don't be afraid to join the herd. Ya heard?